I am standing in my empty house right now holding my phone, staring at a text message that just destroyed my 5-year marriage in under 200 characters. This morning started like any other Thursday. My wife Jessica left for a marketing conference in Vegas 5 days ago. I trusted her completely. We had been married for 5 years together for 6. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something real. Then at 6:30 this morning while I was making coffee in the kitchen, we picked out together, my phone buzzed. The message read, "Harvey, I am not coming back. Brandon and I got married last night at a chapel on the Strip. We have been in love for 2 months. He makes me feel alive in ways you never did. You are pathetic, by the way. Always so boring, so predictable, so safe. Before I tell you how this all unfolded, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever experienced betrayal, if someone you trusted ever made you feel worthless, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because I share real stories about real relationships, the ugly truth that nobody wants to talk about, because what I did next was not revenge. It was survival. And that text message, it was just the beginning of her biggest mistake. Jessica and I met at a charity event in Denver 6 years ago. She was a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized tech company. I am a civil engineer, the kind of guy who designs bridges and highway systems. Our wedding was in the mountains outside Colorado Springs. Small ceremony, 50 guests, everything simple and meaningful. We bought a 2-story house in Lakewood, a suburb west of Denver. The deed had my name on it because my credit score was higher. We talked about kids. We talked about growing old together. We had routines. Every Wednesday night she would cook dinner, usually something with chicken or pasta. I would fix things around the house on weekends. She would curl up on our navy blue sofa and watch crime documentaries while I sketched designs at the kitchen table. 3 months ago, things started shifting. Jessica got promoted to senior marketing manager. Around the same time, a new guy transferred to her Denver office from San Francisco. His name was Brandon. She called him a whiz kid, some hotshot who knew everything about digital campaigns. Suddenly she was working late almost every night. She would come home at 9 or 10, saying she was working on a big campaign with Brandon. Her phone was always face down on the table. She started taking it into the bathroom with her. I noticed, but I told myself she was just dedicated to her career. I wanted to be supportive. I did not want to be that controlling husband. One night, about 6 weeks ago, I made her favorite dinner, lemon herb chicken with roasted vegetables. I spent an hour cooking. When she got home, she barely looked up from her phone. She ate quickly, answered my questions with one-word responses. I asked about work. She said it was just analytics stuff, nothing I would find interesting. That stung, but I let it go. The phone stayed in her hand the entire meal. When I asked who she was texting, she snapped at me, told me I was being paranoid. I apologized. I actually apologized for asking a simple question. A week before the Vegas trip, she told me about the conference. Digital Marketing Summit. 5 days. Brandon was going too because he was a lead speaker. I felt uncomfortable, but I kept my mouth shut. When I suggested the trip seemed long for a conference, she got defensive. She said it was a major opportunity. Then she said something that should have been a red flag. She said Brandon told her it could really boost her profile in the industry. The way she said his name, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about him, I should have known. But I trusted her. I trusted my wife. I offered to drive her to the airport. She refused. Said Brandon was driving, they were carpooling to save on parking fees. The morning she left, she wore a red suit I had never seen before. Her makeup was more careful than usual. Her suitcase was massive for a 5-day trip. When I hugged her goodbye, she kissed my cheek, quickly distracted. She said she would text when she landed. Then she walked out to a black BMW, where Brandon was waiting. I stood at the window and watched them drive away. Something felt wrong in my chest, but I pushed it down. The first 2 days I got short texts. Landed safe. Conferences packed. Talk later. No video calls, which was strange because she always called when she traveled for work. On the 3rd night I tried FaceTime. No answer. She texted back an hour later saying she was in sessions all day and would call that night. She never did. By Thursday night, I was sitting alone on our sofa, drinking a beer, feeling this growing sense of dread I could not explain. I went to bed telling myself I was overthinking everything. I had no idea that in less than 8 hours my entire world would collapse. Friday morning, 6:30. I woke up, showered, got dressed for work. I walked into the kitchen and started the coffee maker. My phone was on the counter. It buzzed. A text from Jessica. I picked it up expecting something normal. Maybe she was finally checking in. Instead, I saw a wall of text that made my blood turn cold. Harvey, I am not coming back. Brandon and I got married last night at a chapel on the Strip. We have been in love for 2 months. He makes me feel alive in ways you never did. You are pathetic, by the way. Always so boring, so predictable, so safe. I will send someone for my stuff next week. Do not contact me. I read it once, then again, then a third time. The words did not make sense. Married. 2 months. Pathetic. The coffee mug slipped from my hand and shattered on the tile floor. I did not even notice. I sat down hard in one of the kitchen chairs. My hands were shaking. I could not breathe properly. The room felt like it was spinning. I looked around at everything we had built together. The refrigerator we bought when we moved in. The knife set we got as a wedding gift. The photos on the wall from our honeymoon in Maui. Every single thing was a lie. 2 months. She had been lying to me for 2 months. All those late nights. All those times she hid her phone. All those conversations about Brandon. I thought back to every sign I missed. Every time she dismissed me. Every time she rolled her eyes when I talked about my projects. Every time she canceled plans with my friends because she found them boring. The evidence had been there all along. I was just too stupid, too trusting, too pathetic to see it. That word kept echoing in my head. Pathetic. Was I pathetic? Was I really that boring? That predictable? That safe? Part of me wanted to call her and beg her to explain. Part of me wanted to fly to Vegas and demand answers. Part of me wanted to scream and break things and fall apart completely. But then something shifted inside me. A strange coldness settled over everything. I looked at that text message again and realized something crucial. She did not respect me. She probably never had. And I was not going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me beg. I opened the message thread. I typed 3 letters and a period. Good. That was it. No explanation, no emotion, no questions. Just one word that carried everything I needed to say. It said, "You want to leave, fine. You think I am pathetic. Watch what I do next. You think you hurt me. You just freed me." I hit send. Then I called Marcus. He has been my best friend since college. He is a financial advisor, smart about money and legal issues. He answered on the second ring. I told him everything. His response was immediate. "Dude, you need to protect yourself. Financially, legally, right now." I pulled up my banking app. Our joint account had $47,000 in it. Most of that was my money, my savings, from years of steady engineering work. Jessica had 3 credit cards, all of them, secondary cards on my accounts. The mortgage was in my name. The utilities were in my name. Even her car, I had co-signed the loan because her credit was not great when we bought it 2 years ago. Marcus was talking fast. "Harvey, listen to me. You need to freeze everything before she drains those accounts. Call the bank. Call a lawyer. Change the locks on your house. Do it now." I looked at the clock. 7:45 in the morning. I called the bank first, explained the situation to a supervisor, froze the joint account, transferred my portion into a new individual account. Then I called the credit card companies, canceled every card she had access to. The representatives were professional, asked no questions. By 8:30, Jessica was financially cut off. Then I emailed my boss. Family emergency, taking the day off. He responded immediately, told me to take whatever time I needed. At 9, I called a locksmith. The guy said he could be there by 11. And finally, I called Sarah Feldman, a divorce attorney Marcus recommended. She had an opening at 2 that afternoon. For the first time since reading that text, I felt like I could breathe again. I was not falling apart. I was taking action. I was protecting myself. And I was not going to let someone who called me pathetic walk all over me. The locksmith arrived just after 11. His name was Tony, maybe in his 50s, with gray hair, and the kind of weathered hands that come from decades of physical work. He took one look at me and said, "Rough day, huh?" I gave him a tired smile. "You could say that." He nodded like he understood. I have seen this before. Usually the smart ones are the ones who call me first. He got to work on the front door, then the back door, then the garage entrance. I stood in the hallway and watched him install new deadbolts. It felt symbolic, like I was physically locking out a part of my life that I needed to leave behind. When he finished, he handed me 3 new sets of keys. "Fresh start," he said. I paid him in cash and thanked him. At 2 o'clock, I was sitting in Sarah Feldman's office downtown. She was in her early 40s, sharp suit, no-nonsense expression. She listened to my story, without interrupting. When I showed her the text messages, she actually smiled. "Well, she made this easy for you. Abandonment and adultery. In Colorado, this heavily favors you in any divorce proceedings." She explained the situation. The house was solely in my name, which meant Jessica had no legal claim to it. The joint account was fair game. Since we were still legally married, I had every right to manage that money, especially when she had just announced she was leaving. Canceling the credit cards was also legal since I was the primary account holder. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, meaning you do not technically need a reason to divorce. But adultery and abandonment still influence how property gets divided. Given the evidence, Sarah was confident I would walk away with almost everything. For the first time all day, I felt a sense of control returning. I was not a victim anymore. I was someone taking action. Around 3:30, my phone started going crazy. 15 missed calls from Jessica. Then the texts started flooding in. 3:47. "What did you do to my cards?" 3:49. "Harvey, this is not funny. Turn them back on now." 3:52. "I am at Bellagio trying to check out, and my card declined. Do you know how embarrassing this is?" 4:01. "Brandon had to pay for everything. You are making me look like a fool." 4:15. "Answer your phone." I did not respond. I just watched the messages come in one after another. Each one felt like a small victory. She was panicking. She was losing control. And honestly, it felt good. 4:45. The tone changed. "Okay, look, maybe I was harsh this morning. Can we talk about this like adults? I still need access to the account for my flight home." I typed back one word. "No." Her response was immediate. "No, that is my money too," I replied. "Actually, it is not. Check the account statements. 92% was my income. You contributed 8%. You cannot just steal from me." I did not steal. I protected what is mine. You wanted out. You are out. Completely. I have rights. You cannot lock me out of my house. It is my house, my name on the deed, my mortgage payments. You made your choice. Live with Brandon now." There was a pause. "Then you fucking asshole. I am calling the police." I typed back. "Go ahead." That evening I sat on the sofa in my quiet house with the new locks. I ordered a pizza, pepperoni, and mushrooms. Jessica hated mushrooms, always made me pick them off when we shared food. Now I could eat whatever I wanted. Marcus called to check on me. "Dude, how are you holding up?" I thought about it for a moment. Honestly, better than I expected. It is like I have been living in a cage I did not even know existed. And she just opened the door. We talked for a while. He told me I was handling this better than most people would. After we hung up, I sat there in the silence and let myself really think. Jessica had not respected me in a long time. Maybe she never had. I thought back to all the little moments. The way she dismissed my opinions. The way she rolled her eyes when I talked about my bridge designs. The way she canceled plans with my friends because she found them dull. The way she made me feel small without me even realizing it. The signs had always been there. I just had not wanted to see them. Pathetic. That word had hurt more than anything else in her message. But maybe it was also the wake-up call I needed. I had been living my life trying to please someone who did not deserve it. Not anymore. I went to bed that night with a strange sense of peace. I was still hurt, still angry, still processing everything, but I also felt free. And I had no idea that the next morning would bring one final confrontation. Saturday, 7:30 in the morning. I was in the kitchen making coffee when the doorbell rang. I opened the door and found 2 police officers standing on my porch. My heart jumped into my throat. The first officer was a woman, maybe 40, with dark hair pulled back. Her badge said Rodriguez. The second was a younger guy, early 30s badge, said Davis. Rodriguez spoke first. "Are you Harvey Patterson?" "Yes." "Is everything okay?" "We received a call from a Jessica Patterson reporting that she has been locked out of her residence and her credit cards have been fraudulently canceled." I took a breath and stayed calm. She is not locked out. She left, and the cards were not fraudulently canceled. I canceled them. "Sir, can we come in and talk?" I stepped aside and let them in. We stood in my living room, and I showed them everything. The text message from Jessica announcing she had married someone else. The deed to the house with only my name on it. The credit card statements showing I was the primary holder. The bank statements proving I had contributed 92% of the joint account. The entire text history where she admitted to a 2-month affair. Officer Davis looked at the messages and then at his partner. "So she left you via text, married someone else in Vegas, and then called us when you protected your assets." "That is correct, officer." Rodriguez sighed. "Mr. Patterson, you have not done anything illegal. The house is yours. The accounts are joint, and you have every right to manage them, especially given these circumstances." She gestured at the texts on my phone. Davis added, "However, if she has personal belongings here, she does have a right to retrieve them. With police escort, if necessary. I understand completely. I have not touched any of her things. She is welcome to get them, preferably with you all present." Rodriguez gave me a sympathetic look. "Sorry you are going through this, Mr. Patterson. Sounds like you are handling it well, though." "Thank you, officer." After they left, I closed the door and leaned against it. Jessica had tried to weaponize the police against me. She had tried to make me look like the bad guy. But the truth had won. I was clean. I was legal. I was right. 2 weeks passed. I threw myself into work. The bridge project in Boulder was moving forward ahead of schedule, and my boss praised my designs in front of the entire engineering team. I started going to the gym every morning, something Jessica used to call a waste of time. Marcus dragged me hiking in Rocky Mountain National Park, and the fresh air and physical exhaustion felt like therapy. I reconnected with college friends, guys I had drifted away from, because Jessica always found excuses not to hang out with them. On the second Saturday, after everything fell apart, Jessica came to get her belongings. She brought Brandon with her, and as I had requested a police escort, I stayed in my upstairs office the entire time, door closed, working on structural calculations. But I could hear them. The walls in that house are not that thick. Jessica's voice carried up the stairs. "I cannot believe he took everything, Brandon, trying to calm her down. Babe, relax. We will figure it out. You said we would be fine. You said you had savings, I do. Well, I did. Vegas was expensive. Okay." I smiled to myself. Reality was setting in for them. I heard them moving boxes, arguing about what to take, what to leave. After about an hour, the front door closed. I looked out the window and watched them load a U-Haul. Brandon's fancy black BMW was nowhere in sight. They left in a beat-up rental truck. Officer Rodriguez waved at me from her patrol car before driving away. The house was empty again, but this time it felt peaceful. It felt like mine. Sarah filed the divorce papers the following Monday. Uncontested, clean, simple. Jessica signed them without argument, probably because Brandon was pressuring her to make it official. The whole thing was settled in 45 days. I kept the house. I kept my car. I kept most of the savings. Jessica tried to request alimony, but Sarah shut that down fast. Colorado law does not look kindly on spouses who abandon their marriages for affairs, especially in short marriages like ours. Jessica got her personal items and nothing else. She deserved less, but I was not vindictive. I just wanted her gone. 3 months after that text message, I ran into a mutual friend at a coffee shop in downtown Denver. She used to work with Jessica at the tech company. We made small talk, and then she leaned in like she had gossip she was dying to share. "Did you hear about Jessica and Brandon?" I shook my head. Honestly, I had not been following their lives. I was too busy building my own. She told me everything. Apparently, the Vegas marriage was not even legal. They had been drunk, picked some sketchy chapel, and the officiant never filed the paperwork correctly, so they were not actually married. On top of that, Brandon got fired. The company found out about his affair with a coworker and terminated him for violating their ethics policy. Jessica got a formal warning from HR for unprofessional conduct. Their relationship was falling apart. Brandon could not find another job and was living off Jessica's income. They were fighting constantly. And according to this friend, Brandon had already started flirting with someone new at the gym. I listened to all of this and felt nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no vindication. Just a quiet sense of closure. I told my friend I hoped Jessica learned something from all this. She looked surprised, like she expected me to gloat. But revenge was never the point. Consequences find people on their own. I did not need to do anything. Today I am standing in my kitchen again. The same kitchen where I got that text message 4 months ago. But everything is different now. I refinished the basement and turned it into a home gym. I adopted a golden retriever named Cooper. Jessica was allergic to dogs, so I never got one while we were married. Now Cooper follows me everywhere, loyal and happy and uncomplicated. Last month I got promoted to lead engineer on a major highway expansion project, the biggest of my career. Am I dating? Not yet. I am focusing on myself. I am rediscovering who I am without someone telling me I am boring or predictable or pathetic. I repainted the living room. I replaced the navy sofa with a leather sectional. I cleared out every corner that held memories of her. This house is mine now, truly mine. And I wake up every morning feeling lighter than I have in years. Looking back, that text message was the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because I wanted my marriage to end, but because it forced me to see the truth I had been ignoring for too long. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Jessica showed me she did not respect me, probably for months, or even years. I just did not want to see it. I kept making excuses for her behavior, kept telling myself I was being supportive, when really I was being a doormat. I learned that self-respect is not negotiable. When someone treats you like you are worthless, you do not beg them to stay. You do not chase them. You do not try to win them back. You protect yourself and move forward. That is not being cold. That is being smart. That is valuing yourself enough to walk away from people who do not value you. She called me pathetic for being loyal, stable, and dedicated. But those are not weaknesses. Those are strengths. The pathetic one was the person who threw away a real partnership for a drunken weekend in Vegas with a coworker. The pathetic one was the person who destroyed trust for temporary excitement. I am not pathetic for being the kind of person who keeps his promises. I am strong for recognizing when someone else is not worth those promises anymore. Freedom does not come from other people. It comes from within. The locks I changed were not just on my doors. They were in my mind. I stopped letting someone who did not value me control my sense of worth. I stopped measuring my life against her expectations. I stopped shrinking myself to fit into her idea of what I should be. If you are reading this, if you are in a situation where someone makes you feel small, where you question your worth, where you are holding on to someone who has already let go, let me tell you something important. The person you need to fight for is not them. It is you. Sometimes the best thing someone can do is leave. It makes room for the life you actually deserve. That text from Vegas was not an ending. It was a beginning. So yeah, when she told me she married someone else and called me pathetic, I replied, "Good." And I meant it. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had someone walk out of your life and later realized it was the best thing that could have happened? Drop your story in the comments below. Hit that like button if this resonated with you. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories about relationships, betrayal, and finding yourself again. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they are worth more than how someone else treats them. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there realize their own strength. Stay strong, stay smart, and never let anyone make you feel less than you are.